Just last week, I was criticizing the Tigers for their lack of commitment to winning this offseason, and they certainly shut me up in making a record-breaking deal to bring in the left-handed starting pitcher Framber Valdez. The deal is 3 years, $115 million total, so that comes out to a $38 million AAV. And I feel like the common fan take so far is that this is a little bit of an overpay by the Tigers to bring in Valdez. In addition to that, the Tigers already had probably one of the best starting rotations in the league, including without a doubt the best pitcher in the league. And so yeah, I was very surprised when I found out the news that the Tigers did go out there and make this deal. Having said that, I think Framber Valdez is also one of the more underappreciated starting pitchers in the MLB today. There really aren't many players that have had the efficiency, but also the reliability that Framber Valdez has provided to the Houston Astros over the past 5 years. Since 2022, Valdez has put out the following ERAs: a 2.82, a 3.45, a 2.91, and lastly a 3.66 in last year's season. I think more impressively than those stats though, he has averaged just over 30 games pitched per season. Specifically over that time period, he pitched 767 innings, and he's one of only a few pitchers who've pitched over 700 innings while maintaining an ERA beneath 3.5. And we all know ERA, WHIP, Ks per 9, all of the above are super important, but none of that matters if you don't have a guy who is able to consistently be available for you. And I think that's why most people would include him in top 20 lists as far as starting pitchers in the MLB today. Even with that though, I was beginning to question whether Valdez was going to get a deal like he ended up getting. Days kept going by as we get closer and closer to the MLB season starting, and I thought it was getting more and more likely that Framber would walk away with a 1 or 2 year deal with an AAV somewhere closer to $20 million. It was also hard to forget about the moment in September when Framber Valdez kind of broke an unwritten rule in the MLB. If you're not familiar with that situation, long story short, Framber ultimately expressed his disagreement or disapproval with his catcher by crossing him up and throwing a 90-plus-mile-an-hour sinker right in his chest. And look, there's kind of an understanding in baseball where you don't intentionally put the catcher in harm's way like that. I mean, these guys are literally putting their bodies in front of objects moving up to 100 miles an hour at them. And yes, of course, pitchers get unhappy with the way catchers call games, but there are so many better ways to go about, addressing these issues than throwing the ball intentionally at their chest. Anyway, all that said, I thought potentially MLB teams really questioned Framber's ability to be a good teammate after something like this occurred, which definitely could have decreased his value on the free agent market. And who knows, maybe it did, but it certainly is hard to be complaining if you're Framber Valdez, who now holds the record for a contract with the highest AAV for any left-handed pitcher, which I can't lie is kind of ironic because the Tigers already have a pretty good left-handed pitcher who also wants to get paid. Anyway, from a Tigers standpoint, I think this is a fantastic addition to what, like I said, was already a strength of their team in starting pitching. To me, what this does for the Tigers is solidifies that starting rotation as easily a top 5 unit, but more than likely a top 3 one. And I've been very vocal on my channel that the best way to beat lineups like the Dodgers is going out there and getting pitchers like Tarik Skubal or Framber Valdez, who, when they're on, have the ability to shut down any lineup. And now if you're facing the Tigers in a best of 5 or best of 7 series, you're more than likely going to be facing Tarik Skubal or Framber Valdez twice each. So yeah, good luck with that. The Tigers deserve a ton of credit for ponying up that amount of money and taking that big of a financial risk. But with Skubal's uncertain future, it feels very necessary for this team to go out there and try to win it all. And there is no question that the Tigers have a better chance to do so with Framber Valdez than without him. Anyway, that's all I have for today's video. As always, if you guys did enjoy, hit the subscribe button for weekly MLB content. I will talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.